Well, looks like we've got a clear night on our hands, and it is windy though. It's also, there's a 77% illuminated moon that is kind of disrupting things in the southeast towards Sagittarius, where I would like to be shooting tonight. So I won't get that close to the moon, even though I'm shooting with narrowband filters. You don't want to be shooting right next to it. So I'm thinking at this time of year I'm going to stick to something in Cepheus, which is going to be in the north, swinging up east, or Cygnus, which is pretty well due east. It doesn't get dark out until about 9:30 tonight. We're in late May now. It's so nice out here though. It's so pleasant. That's the plan anyway. So got lots of time to set up. No excuses to not have everything ready when it's showtime. You may have noticed a new device on my telescope in my last few videos, but I haven't talked about it yet. That is the Pegasus Astro Dewmaster dew heater controller. So there's 5 dew heater output ports where you can plug in your dew heater bands. I've got one plugged in for my primary imaging telescope and one for my guide scope. On top of that, there's 12 volt DC outputs. There's 2 of them. So this kind of acts like the pocket power box. I'm using it in place of it, where I'm actually powering my camera using this Dewmaster box as well. It has a temperature sensor probe that's plugged into it right now, and it's sitting up there, so it's giving me a current readout of the current temperature, the humidity, and the dew point. It also tells you the current amps that you're using and the voltage. So right now on the screen it has the 5 different output ports for the dew heater bands. I've got it on 1. I can turn it up to say 50 for now, and the band will start warming up. I'm going to turn it off and let it do its thing, its auto dew function, where it just kicks on if we reach the dew point. If I just wait on this little LED screen here, it will tell me the current stats and when I can expect that to happen. So right now it's 17.8 degrees outside with 59% humidity. So the dew point is at 9.6. So when we reach there, the dew heater bands will kick on their own and act kind of like the defroster in your car to keep the moisture off the optics and let me image all night long. So really cool device. I love that it has the output ports there too, so I don't have to double up on devices here. I'm using this now instead of the pocket power box. Very cool, the Dewmaster. Well, the skies did clear. I don't know if you saw how cloudy it was getting when I was talking with the Dewmaster, but all those clouds have passed. It's a lot less windy out, and the clear sky chart didn't disappoint. It's actually clear right now. It's really beautiful. It's 1:45, and I just wanted to go over a huge mistake I made that possibly could save you some time. So if you remember in my video when I talked about the off-axis guider, and I was actually guiding with the SkyGuider Pro for the first time, which only has an RA axis motor. So I turned off the declination mode in PHD2 guiding. And ever since then, I was having problems guiding in declination with my traditional mounts like the EQ6R and the Celestron CGXL, even though I thought I had the declination guiding mode set properly, but I didn't. It was buried in the settings. Rudy found a raccoon and chased him up a tree. So far, he's doing his job as the backyard protector. So, like I said, it was buried in the settings here, and it just made me think about all the things that could go wrong with PHD2 guiding, and I realized that people have so many questions about it and everything. So the setting I was missing was in, of course, the brain, in the algorithms tab. I had it set here. The declination guide mode was set to off, and of course it should be on auto, and I had to reset that and reset my calibration. The dead giveaway that should have given it away to me was that when I ran my calibration, it would do a east and west only and then go straight to guiding. There was no north-south. So that's the axis that declination controls. So that should have been a dead giveaway. But anyways, that's just a really dumb thing I did. The really odd thing about the whole thing was that so my last Tulip Nebula shot was with those guiding issues. So apparently the declination guiding isn't so important after all. RA was fine, but no declination guiding, and I had razor sharp images. Obviously I want to see that good graph that we'll take a look at here to see how it's looking. Total, not the greatest. I will say that I'm shooting very low right now, and I'm shooting through a few wispy clouds in the bottom and low on the horizon, so that's probably why my guiding isn't so great, but a lot better than it was before when I had that setting off. If you're looking at my screen now here on Astrophotography tool, what we're looking at is the Cave Nebula. Now this is a deep sky target I've never shot before, so really exciting, and to be honest, it's probably a little too low in the sky to be shooting just yet. End of May, it's just 1 o'clock, so those in the northern hemisphere know how low in Cepheus that object is. It's way below the Iris Nebula. I'm definitely jumping the gun shooting this now, but I wanted to try a new target. So as you saw, the telescope is the Esprit 150 with a focal length of 550 millimeters. And then the filter I'm using with my color camera is the STC Astro Duo narrowband. So I knew this object had a lot of hydrogen alpha in it, as well as some other wavelengths, O3 and S2, but primarily H alpha. So I felt this filter would do a great job with it, and I can see in my single image subs here that I can see it in the frame, which is a good sign. So when it comes time to process it out, I'll be able to pull out some really sweet details. So if you want to shoot this target yourself, it's cataloged Caldwell 9 in the constellation Cepheus, and honestly probably about a month or two would be a better time to shoot it than now. It's just swinging its way up around Polaris. As it gets higher and higher in the sky tonight, my images should get a little crisper and cleaner, each one, as it gets out of the light dome and the glow from the turbulence in the air. So the target I'm shooting tonight, I ended up choosing the Cave Nebula. I've never shot this nebula before. I'm so excited about it because it's a really cool looking nebula. It's a mix of, it's primarily a diffuse emission nebula, but it also is a part of a larger nebula complex with dark nebula and reflection nebula in it. I've seen some incredible images of the Cave Nebula online. I've always wanted to shoot it. I kind of didn't know where it was. I'm a little naive that way. It's not on the Messier list. It's not on the NGC list. It's actually Caldwell 9 and Sharpless 155. So I punched in Caldwell 9 on my Skywatcher mount, and boom, there it was. At this time of year, it's a little early to be shooting targets in Cepheus, especially ones at the bottom, like the Cave Nebula. Most people wait till the fall to shoot this when it's much higher up and spinning back around the other way, but I couldn't help myself and shoot the Cave Nebula tonight.